Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the second class here at abumaryam.com. In this class, we're going to be continuing from where we left off in the last class. We're still in lesson 1 of the book, Madinah Book 1. And we're going to be looking at ma hadha in this class. Before we get into this class, we just want to make a quick revision of what we went over in the last class. The first concept that we looked at in the last class was hadha, and we said that hadha was a ismul ishara, and it's a noun for directing or for pointing, directive pronoun. I think it's translated often to in English, and we translate it as this or the thing that I'm pointing at. And we also looked at the jumla ismiya. We said that the jumlatul ismiya is a nominal sentence and it has two parts, the mubtada and the khabar. I don't know if we mentioned, but we should have, that the mubtada, it comes first, it's the thing that we're speaking about, and the khabar, it comes second, it's the news about what we are speaking. And we're going to expand on those concepts a little bit in this class, inshallah, and introduce some new ones. So in this class, we start Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We're looking at ma hadha, ma hadha. And ma hadha is also a jumla ismiya, just like the jumla we took, hadha baytun or hadha bayt in the first lesson. However, there are some new parts or some new understandings we need to take from this sentence. First, let's look at the kalima ma. It's a new kalima for us, and this ma is also an ism, and it's for istifham. This is a sin, sukun, istifham, and istifham means questioning. It means questioning. So here we have a question, and because of that we have a question mark here. Ism istifham. Ma hadha, we can translate ma as what. What is this? What is this? And that's the meaning of our sentence. So expanding on some of the concepts that we looked at in the last class, we said that mubtada and khabar are the two parts of a jumlatul ismiya, and the mubtada comes first and the khabar comes second, and the mubtada is the thing about which we are speaking, and the khabar is the news about that thing. In our sentence here, however, we've gone against that rule. We've gone against that asl, and that basis or that origin, and there's a reason to that, and we're going to explain that to you now. Hadha here is the mubtada. Hadha here is the mubtada. It's the mubtada because it is the thing about which we are speaking, or in this case, it's the thing about which we want information. It's the thing about which we are asking. It's still in the main important part in our sentence. And ma here is the khabar. So we've reversed the order of our sentence. Why? Why have we reversed the order of our sentence? Why have we put the khabar in front, al-khabar al-muqaddam, and the mubtada, and towards the end, al-mubtada al-muakhar? And the reason being because this kalima ma, this ism istifham, and all asma al-istifham, all of them, we're going to learn some more in the coming durus, inshallah. All of them, it's obligatory for them to be at the beginning of a sentence. All of them, it's obligatory for them to be at the beginning of the sentence. So we can say that the asl, or the origin of this sentence, is to say hadha ma. Hadha ma. Because ma or hadha is the thing we're speaking about, so it's the mubtada, and ma is the news or the thing we want to know about the thing we're speaking about. But because this ma is obligatory for it to be at the beginning of a sentence, we have to move it to the beginning. So we say ma hadha. What is this? So if we explain this rule again, we said the mubtada, it should come at the beginning, and the khabar, it should come after. However, there are occasions when it can be reversed, and one of those occasions is when the khabar is an ism of istifham. Then it's obligatory for it to become at the beginning. We want to introduce another concept in this class with regards to the mubtada and the khabar, or with regards to kalimat. Now a kalima, I'm going to go over here. A kalima, we said, can be an ism, a fi'l, or a harf in the first sentence. There's also another taqsim, another type of division we want to make with regards to kalimat, and one of them is that a kalima can be mu'rab, which means that the end of it changes, or it can be mabni, meaning that the end of the word, it remains the same, it doesn't change. It's going to become clear to you while I'm explaining this to you in a moment. And that's because we want to really get into this concept of i'rab. And to explain what i'rab is, Allah says in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, al-hajju ashhurun ma'lumat, faman farada fihinna al-hajja fala rafatha wala fasuqa wala jidala fil hajji. In this ayat al-karima, we have the kalima hajj appearing 3 times. It comes 3 times, and in each time the last or the ending letter of the word has a different harakah, a dhamma, a fatha, a kasra. It changes. And this is the concept of i'rab, or the concept of nahu in general. when we study Nahu, what we want to know is that the ending of each word, what should it be and what caused it to be that. Meaning that if it comes as a Dhamma, why is it a Dhamma, or why is it a Fatha, what caused it to change. That's what we're going to be learning here. Ma hadha, what is this? Hadha bait. And we're going to take this sentence, hadha bait, the first sentence that we took in the book, and we're going to use this to expand or to understand a little bit more about i'rab. The ruling with regards to the mubtada and the khabar is that they are both marfu'. That's a fa-fu', meaning that they have a dhamma at the end, or something which can come in the place of a dhamma. But for now we'll just say meaning that it has a dhamma at the end, or we can say raf, fi halati raf, it is in the condition or the state of raf. So the mubtada and the khabar, they are both marfu', meaning that at the end, the last letter of each word will have a dhamma. And the reason is, the mubtada, it has a dhamma at the end because it is the mubtada. In Arabic we say al-ibtida, and because of al-ibtida, because we begin with it, or because it is the mubtada, it is marfu'. And the khabar is marfu' because of the mubtada. The mubtada makes the khabar to be marfu', meaning that both of them have to take dhamma. If we look at our sentence here, hadha baytun, the kalima baytun here, it has a dhammatain at the end. So it has two dhammas. It has a dhamma or dhammatain, no problem. It means to be marfu'. Hadha baytun, it is marfu'. It's in hal raf. And we can see the dhamma here. So la ishkala fi, we have no problem here with our khabar. Our khabar, it complies to our rule, mean that the mubtada and khabar have to be marfu'. But if we look at our first kalima here, hadha, it doesn't have a dhamma. So it's not complied with our rule. So we have a problem here that we need to explain. The reason why hadha doesn't have a dhamma at the end, because here, as we just mentioned, the kalimat are of two types, mu'rab or mabni, and hadha is of the second type, it is mabni. And mabni means that the last harf, or the last letter, it doesn't change its harakah. It stays in one state. If it's a dhamma, it stays as a dhamma. If it's a sukoon, it stays as a sukoon, and so on. Meaning that it doesn't change. So because hadha doesn't change, here we won't see the dhamma appearing on it. So what we'll say is in the hal of raf, is in the halat raf, is in the place of a kalima which is marfu', is in the place of a kalima which takes dhamma, but it itself is not taking a dhamma because it is mabni. I hope that's clear. We're going to expand on that a little bit further. But hadha is mabni in the hal of raf. So the mubtada is marfu', and meaning that it takes a dhamma, but hadha doesn't take the dhamma. Why? Because it is mabni. Baytun, on the other hand, is marfu', is in the hal of raf, and it has a dhamma, no problem, because baytun is mu'rab, meaning it changes. In other sentences we're going to see baytun, baytin, baytan, and it can change, no problem. And with regards to i'rab, or regards to the parts of the sentence, here hadha, which we learned in the first class, is the mubtada, and bayt is a khabar. We have no problem, mubtada wa khabar, and both are marfu', both are taking dhamma. And we mentioned that the dhamma we don't see on hadha because it's mabni, and on baytun we see it because it's mu'rab. We've gone over that concept enough of times. I'm repeating it just because it's a very important concept, it's a fundamental concept, and we're going to build upon it. So we really need to make sure we can understand that concept, inshallah. Moving on to our next part, hadha baytun, we have a hamza here at the beginning of this sentence. This hamza is also for istifham here. It's also for istifham, but it is not an ism of istifham, rather it is a harf. Rather it is a harf. We're going to get a little bit more into huruf, I think in Dars 2 or Dars 3, lesson 2 or 3 of the book. We're not going to explain a lot about it now, but it's a harf, it's not an ism. And as a harf, la mahalluhu fil i'rab, and it has no bearing on our sentence with regards to the mubtada or khabar, or both parts being marfu'. So if we say hadha baytun, the hamza here, it has no bearing, we say la mahalluhu fil i'rab. Hadha, we say it's still the mubtada, like in our previous sentence, hadha baytun, it's still the mubtada, it's still marfu', but we don't see the dhamma because it's mabni, and baytun is still the khabar, and it's marfu', and the sign, or alama, the sign of it being marfu' is the dhamma here at the end. Hadha baytun, is this a house? So it's still a question. This is another way we can use for questioning, is that we take a sentence and we put a hamza in front of it, and that makes it into a question. It's been said that when you have a question that begins with this hamza, you have to give one of two answers, either naam or la. So here we have naam, and naam and la, they are both also huruf, they are harfani, and they are for again jawab, for answering. So when someone asks you hadha kada, is this such and such, you have to answer naam or la first, and then you can continue with your sentence or with your affirmation or your negation. So here we have naam, yes, which means yes. هذا بيت. Yes, this is a house. The next sentence, أهذا سرير, is this a bed? لا. So here we have a negation, and لا also حرف الجواب just like نعم is. لا هذا كرسي or هذا كرسي. No, this is a chair. And here we have لا محل في الإعراب, it's a حرف, it has no bearing on our sentence. هذا is the mubtada and كرسي is the khabar. So we see the structure is exactly the same structure that we've been seeing previously. أهذا مفتاح, أهذا مفتاح, we say, and remember that Arabs in speech they end with a sukoon. So we'd say أهذا مفتاح in speech. And like I said to you in the previous class, sometimes I'll read the harakah at the end and sometimes I won't. But when I'm reading it, it's just to point out to you that what the harakah at the end is, what the sign at the end is, so that we can have some understanding with regards to some of the rules of grammar that we've mentioned. لا هذا قلم, هذا قلم, هذا مبتدا, قلم خبر. And لا here the harf jawab is a harf, it doesn't affect the mubtada and the khabar. The last sentence here, ما هذا, ما هذا, and we still have here the mubtada and the khabar like we mentioned at the beginning, the mubtada being at the end and the khabar being at the beginning. And we mentioned the reason why is because ma is ism al-istifham, and the ism of istifham has to come at the beginning of a sentence. And they are both marfu' still, they're still both in the hal of raf. However, both of these kalimat, ma and the kalima hada, they are both mabni, so we don't see the dhamma on either of them. We don't see the dhamma on either of them. But the ma is the khabar and it's marfu', and hada is the mubtada and it's marfu'. The answer, what is this? The question, ma hada, what is this? The answer, hada najm. Hada najm. This is a star. This is a star, and the najm is a star. Hada is the mubtada, najm is the khabar. And we're gonna, in the next few dars, and actually throughout all of the book, we'll keep mentioning mubtada, khabar. And it might become quite repetitive, but the reason is, as I said before, the mubtada and khabar is a really fundamental, important concept that you must understand and you must come to grips with, and also the rules regarding the mubtada and the khabar, and it makes understanding things later on a lot easier. So we've got to make sure that we can get these things down and understand them very well. So that's it for this class. Just to revise what we've studied so far, we said a jumla, a sentence is of two types, ismiya and fa'aliyya. Then we looked at the jumla ismiya. We said that it has two fundamental parts, the mubtada and the khabar. The first rule we gave is that the mubtada should come first and the khabar will come second. There are occasions when the khabar will come first and the mubtada will come second, and one of those occasions is when the khabar is an ism of istifham. We went on to mention that both of the kalimat, the mubtada and the khabar, they are both marfu', meaning they both take dhamma. There are occasions when we won't see that dhamma, and those occasions are when the kalima is mabni, meaning that it doesn't change, such as ma hada. Both of these kalimat, or these kalimatan, they are mabni or mabniyan. So because of that, we don't see the dhamma on either of them, but they are both still marfu', or we say they are in a hal of raf, they are in the condition or the place of raf. So that's going to wrap it up for this class. Please try to make sure you can understand these concepts very well. After this exercise, or after this question, there are tamareen. Tamareen means exercises, or tamreen, exercise. And you can answer those exercises, inshallah. There's some question and answer exercises, and if you'd like, you can answer the questions and you can send the answers to us via email, and we'll answer those for you, inshallah. We'll mark those for you, inshallah. The third of those exercises, just so you can know what you need to do, it says ikra. It says ikra waktub. 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 Ikra waktub. Ikra means read. Read. It's a fi'l amr. It's a command verb. It's commanding you here. Read. And waktub means write. We can see this kaf, this ta, and this ba. Like in the first class, we mentioned about kitab, or we mentioned al-maktab, and we can see the kaf, the ta, and the ba. The same kaf, ta, and ba that appeared in those words. So when we see this kaf, the ta, and the ba, we can understand generally that it's got something to do with writing, whether it be writing, whether it be a book or a table, or in this case, as it is an order to write. So the third of the exercise is ikra, so you need to read through the sentences, make sure you can read them correctly. Waktub, and you need to write out those sentences as well, so you can practice your writing, your khat, your writing. So that's going to do it for this lesson, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.